Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who collection update where I show you all the lovely Doctor Who merchandise I picked up from January to March. That means it is the birthday collection update. Wahoo! Yes, it's time to show you all the lovely Doctor Who merch, and we've got quite a nice wide variety of Doctor Who merch. We've got, of course, Blu-ray, figures, we've got books, comics, and of course Big Finish and figurines. So we've got a nice wide variety of Doctor Who merch to show. So if you're new around here and you like your Doctor Who merch, then please do consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you like Doctor Who collection updates, then please do leave a like, because it helps the channel out greatly. So without further ado, let's dive in to the collection update. So the first item I'm going to show in this collection update is part of the Forbidden Planet Diamond collection, because Forbidden Planet are doing a load of Doctor Who merch to celebrate 60 years of Doctor Who. And they did some Third Doctor merch, and you know, I'm a sucker for anything with Jon Pertwee on. I'm probably going to buy it. So I picked up this, if you can see it. It's the Third Doctor jumper, which has got a load of names and characters and monsters featured throughout his era. It's a very cool, very nice jumper. So it's nice to be wrapping my favourite Doctor in jumper form. But that's not all, because I did pick up the mug as well. There we go, Third Doctor, and then you've got John there. So I can be wearing my favourite Doctor and drinking from my Third Doctor mug, living my best life, so I'm winning. Moving on to magazines, or I guess these are sort of bookazines. I picked up the Doctor Who Chronicles 1988, covering season 25. So yeah, this is really quite a nice little cool thing to get, because obviously it's the 60th anniversary, and it's interesting to look how the show celebrated its 25-year anniversary. So it's great sort of behind the scenes info on the making of the monsters, the merchandise, which is always my favourite thing about these Chronicle books, is seeing what merch has been released. You know, very cool stuff to see, and sort of talking about the Target book range, how they were sort of expanded from the original stories. But that's not the only Chronicle book, because I enjoyed the ones I've picked up so far. I've decided, you know what, I'm going to go back and pick up the ones I was missing. So I picked up the 1965 one, the first one to be released in the Chronicles range. This is a nice little complement to the Season 2 Blu-ray. I think that this one covers the merchandise section a lot better than it did on the Space Museum Blu-ray disc. It's a lot more in-depth, and yeah, I think it just covers a more wide variety of merch that was sort of around about that time, really. So yeah, really nice issue. It's kind of strange how expensive some of these books have gone, because yeah, people are charging like 50 to 80 quid for this. I didn't pay that, thankfully, but it's mental that people are charging that for these releases. So the next one is the 1975 one, the one I really wanted to get, because you know, it's Tom Baker, he's one of my favourite Doctors, so I'm very happy to have this in the collection. But yeah, really great series of books to get, because you know, it's just a little archive. It's sort of a little essay about that year in Doctor Who's history. It's not only just about Doctor Who, it's about the merchandise, what was on television, you know, it's the news in general. Yeah, it's just a really interesting series. I would like to do a video sort of covering about why you should check these out, because they are a lot of fun. And then of course we have the last one I was missing, the 1983 one. Again, a rather nice fitting one to have, because it's celebrating, you know, 20 years of Doctor Who, and you know, 40 years on, here we are celebrating the 60th anniversary. So yeah, really nice little bios on the actors, and you know, the stories, and just talking about, you know, just the old merchandise what was around. So it's just really nice looking back at what was sort of around about that time. So yeah, really nice set of magazines, really, and I recommend them. So I will do a video covering why you should check out the Doctor Who Chronicles range. Next up we have some graphic novels. Now I'm trying to complete my Doctor Who graphic novel collection. I've completed the 8th Doctor, I've completed the 9th Doctor, I've completed the 4th Doctor, so I guess I needed to complete the 5th Doctor, and that is the Tides of Time. Now this is all the Doctor Who magazines, or Doctor Who weekly comic strips from the 5th Doctor era, so it's really nice to have that. A really nice chunky graphic novel, so I can't wait to dive in and start reading these, because it introduces Stockbridge, I think, within this, or it might have been a 4th Doctor comic. But yeah, be very interesting to start to read these, because they do look really cool. And it's interesting that we've got a meddling monk story with the Ice Warriors, which
just seems like such an interesting idea. So yeah, I look forward to sort of exploring that later down the line. But yeah, really interesting. Great artwork for the Ice Warriors. You can definitely see the reference material they used for that. So yeah, you can see Peter Butterworth's monk there. So yeah, rather interesting to have that. And then we have Voyager. Now this is a big Doctor Who graphic novel in the comic history because it introduces us to Frobisher. Oh yes, so very excited to give this one a read because I really enjoyed the Sixth Doctor comic strip collection, The World Shapers, so I'm sure I'll enjoy Voyager to see how Frobisher's introduced into the world of Doctor Who, really. So yeah, very happy to have these two graphic novels in the collection. Continuing the book theme, I picked up two 12th Doctor hardback books. So I picked up Deep Time, which is the second story in the Glamour Chronicles, and I did pick up the final instalment in the Glamour Chronicles, The Big Bang Generation, which features the 12th Doctor and Bernie Summerfield, so it'd be interesting to have those two interact. Yeah, these books went really rare for some weird reason, and then they've dropped down in price again. I managed to get these for £2 each, so £4 for these books in total. Absolute bargain, and it's quite nostalgic getting the new series hardback books again because, you know, sadly that line had been dropped, and you know they were great fun to have. I'm just missing Silhouette, and then I'll have all the 12th Doctor books. But yeah, very excited to give these a read because I did have Royal Blood, read that, enjoyed it, but I never picked up the other two. Little side note from the books, I did pick up this. Well, I say pick up, Mel got me this. She thought it was a print, but it's a little card, a nice sort of 60s inspired comic Dalek design. Yeah, really nice little thing to have, really. But yeah, really nice. Moving on to the Blu-ray now. The Blu-ray is the Collection Season 12 Standard Edition. I've done a video talking about this versus the limited edition. I picked this up as a little curio because I have the original Season 12 Blu-ray where it has a few faulty discs like Samtara Experiment and Revenge of Cybermen having sort of dodgy sound. So I thought, you know, I know you could get replacement discs at the time, but I think that it's a nice little curio to pick this up to see what all the fuss was about with the standard edition and see whether the grass is greener on the other side. So yeah, really nice to have that and to actually have the stories with, you know, the correct audio, really. Next up we have Doctor Who figures. So I picked up 3 Doctor Who figures. So we have the Regeneration set. Of course, I have done a review on this set and I did a whole rearranging the Doctor Who figure collection, showing you me putting these in the actual figure collection. 2 really great figures. The Jodie figure, probably the best paint up we've seen on a 13th Doctor figure, incredible. But yeah, the main star of course is the 14th Doctor, to actually have another David Tennant. But yeah, really nice figure to have in the collection. I really like him and I just love that costume. But yeah, really cool figure. But yeah, if you want to know my full thoughts on that set, check out my review for it. And the final figure I picked up is a bit of a throwback to, I think, 2014, and it is this, the Sound Effects Special Weapons Dalek. A slight variant from the original, and I think that this is a real sort of Doctor Who oddity in the figure line because obviously the Special Weapons Dalek didn't speak in the TV show. But the fact that they made a sound effects version of him is really cool because there's a nice little Easter egg feature where if you turn the figure off and on and hold the hemisphere down, he does have some speech. But I might do a video reviewing the Special Weapons Dalek and comparing it to the Forbidden Planet exclusive as well. But yeah, they've definitely updated the paint apps on the gun, adding that sort of silver dry brushing, and they've improved the weathering on the midsection there. But yeah, really nice to have this because it's become a little rare figure, and I'd like to complete my Doctor Who figure collection. Continuing the Doctor Who figure line, but this time figurines. I've dipped into Robert Harrop again. I have the Silurian and the Mandrill, and with Season 9 coming out on Blu-ray, I thought, you know what, I'd like to do a little series reviewing some Doctor Who merch related to some of those Season 9 stories. So I decided to pick up Agador. Lockety Park and Merin Kalash, Arun. There he is, Agador. Yeah, really nice little figurine. Of course, I will be doing a little review on him very shortly. But yeah, it's very cool to have Agador in the collection. But that not the only Robert Harrop I picked up, and I've picked up probably my favourite Robert Harrop figure in my collection so far, and that is this, the Abominable Snowman Yeti. I've always wanted a Yeti in my Doctor Who collection, and I saw this going for a good price, cheaper than it was retailing for when it was first released. So I jumped on that and I was like, you know what, I'm getting myself a Yeti, and I will be doing a review on this because it's an absolute beast. It's a chunky boy. This Yeti is thick with 2 C's. It does come with the little Yeti control sphere. There we go. That completes it, doesn't it? It just looks really, really cool, very striking and imposing, and just, yeah, fabulous. So I'm definitely going to be picking up a few more Robert Harrops, because I think they're going to be doing some from The Visitation, and The Visitation's my favourite 5th Doctor story, so I'd love to get a Pteroleptor. So those are the Robert Harrops I've picked up. Big Finish time, the main bulk of this collection update. So I picked up 2 Torchwood releases, which were Torchwood Double Part 1 and Part 2. Seeing Torchwood in the 1970s, facing off the Autons and Nestines. The covers do not reflect the actual story, but yeah, it's an interesting sort of political thriller and espionage story featuring the Autons. The Autons have got some quite nice sort of dark, bleak moments, which I guess is the beauty of the Torchwood stuff, because you can do more horrific stuff with a Doctor Who monster and show the true horror nature of this monster. Louise Jameson does a great job playing the lead, but yeah, I think that it's an interesting release. Not my favourite Torchwood release, but it was okay. It was okay. My next Big Finish was a Big Finish I ordered, I think, back in sort of December when it was on sale, but they only just dispatched it recently. It was The Robot Volume 2, so I've completed the first 4 Robot box sets. I've not listened to any of these yet. Volume 6 is out next month, so I should really start listening to that so I can get to see how it sort of ties in with sort of Ravenous 2. So yeah, I look forward to giving the Robot series a go. The last spin-off box set I'm going to show in this collection update is The Diary of River Song, Friend of the Family by Tim Foley. The best River Song box set Big Finish have done. It's a beautiful story where we see River sort of following this family throughout time, and it's such a clever timey-wimey story. If you enjoyed Auld Lang Syne, you'll really enjoy this. I think that this is a brilliant set, 4 hours, and it doesn't feel like 4 hours, and by those end of that 4 hours you're like, I don't want to say goodbye to this sort of family and this story. Really, it's such a great release, one of my favourites, if not my favourite release of the year so far. Tremendous. Speaking of another great release, we have the 8th Doctor Cass Time War Volume 5. Pretty good box set overall. I think the main takeaway from this set is just the TARDIS crew, how much fun the 8th Doctor, Cass and Alex are. They're very infectious. I think McGann is just having a lot of fun, and that makes it really infectious and just makes it a real enjoyable listen. The stories are very good as well, but I think the main enjoyment is this TARDIS crew. It's just a lot of fun, and it's just nice to see the 8th Doctor having a bit of fun, and I'm very interested to see where Volume 6 goes, because it's got a bit of a cliffhanger ending. I will do a full review on it at some point, really. The next Big Finish is the 9th Doctor Series 2 finale, Shades of Fear. Yeah, an okay box set, I will be honest. The 9th Doctor Series 2 was a bit of an up and down sort of series. I think Station to Station and Auld Lang Syne are probably the key stories, and Salvation 9's pretty good. And I think Red Darkness is good as well. The rest are kind of okay. But yeah, this was a fairly decent box set. I'd be interested to know where they go with Series 3, whether they actually take more of a series route, and I'd like more 2-parters. But yeah, it was okay. It was an okay one. I think the main star of that box set is, of course, the Vashtin Arada story. A range I am absolutely loving. It is all of Time and Space, part of the 11th Doctor Chronicles. I highly recommend this because it feels like a little mini series of adventures, and how it ties into Series 7 is brilliant, and the first story within this is so good, All of Time and Space. It's just really nice experimental stories that fit the era perfectly, and the pairing of the 11th Doctor and Valerie Lockwood are just superb. I highly recommend checking this out because I think that this is one of the standout ranges. Because, you know, most box sets are standalone, and if you want to get invested in a series, this is it. This is it. This is a series to get invested in. The last box that I'm going to show physically is The Demon's Song. Again, such a great box set. Me and Luke were such a huge fan of the first box set for this series, The Outlaws. Highly recommend it. And here we have the Tricky album, album number 2, The Demon's Song. And I think that this is not only got a really beautiful cover, and I think you can really appreciate it in its physical form. It is just really pretty. The stories are also very great. The Demon's Song is probably the best of the two, because we're seeing the first Doctor in sort of a post-pandemic Britain, and I think that it's really cool seeing characters from the 60s interacting with the modern world. And, you know, the story, it's very much the first Doctor's Whispers of Terror. It utilises the audio medium to its advantage. And then we have the Introduction Incident, which is more of a traditional sort of 60s story. A very Nick Briggs story, with it being a seaside town and set in the sort of a post-World War II Britain. And sort of, it's got some interesting themes and sort of repercussions of that, of Britain trying to rebuild with finding new energy sources and all that sort of stuff. So that's very interesting. It's a story that's out there to confuse you, and it's got a great mystery towards it. But yeah, really great set, really did enjoy that. Other Big Finish releases I've picked up which haven't arrived in the post. I picked up The Return of Jo Jones, which I am currently listening to and really enjoying. And it's great to have sort of a different dynamic with the third Doctor and an older Jo. It's interesting that Jo is now saving the Doctor instead of the Doctor saving her, so I think that's a nice little change of dynamic. We also have the Fourth Doctor Adventures New Frontiers, where we have the Fourth Doctor's new companion Margaret team up with Leela and the Fourth Doctor. I've only listened to Ice Heist so far. Really good, solid story. I've still got to listen to the second story in that set, and then of course I will do a review on that. And the other Big Finish release I picked up was an audio novel, The Dead Star by Kate Orman, a 7-hour sort of Doctor Who audiobook read by Michael Troughton. Again, I've not had a chance to listen to it because it's 7 hours, and you know, that's a long time to sort of put aside to listen to Big Finish when you have all these other things to listen to as well. So I'm hopefully going to listen to that very soon, and of course I will do a review on that, because me and Luke are planning on doing a video sort of dedicated to the audio novels and why you should check them out, because I think they're sort of an unsung hero in the Big Finish catalogue right now. So there we have it, that is the Big Finish. So there we go, that is my birthday collection update for March 2023. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've enjoyed this video, then please do click like and subscribe if you're new around here, because it really does help the channel out. And I'll be back for more Doctor Who merchandise reviews, taking a look at some Season 9 products, and of course I will be doing an unboxing on the collection Season 9 itself, and plenty of Big Finish reviews coming up in the near future. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.